Morning news right here on CNN News 18. Through the first half of the show, we maintained our focus on the Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia. Now, though, we're moving on to stories from across the country and the world. Breaking news right now coming in regarding a report from the United States Department of Energy. This is a newly updated classified report from the U.S. Department of Energy. The report alleges that COVID-19 was probably the result of a leak from a laboratory. The latest findings suggest a change in the view of the Energy Department, which, remember, had previously said that it was undecided on the source of what the virus was. But with this, it now joins the FBI in saying that the virus likely spread via a mishap at a Chinese laboratory. You'll remember 4 different organizations have commented on this from the United States over the last few months. The large consensus so far has been that it possibly took place, the spread of COVID possibly took place because of a mistake at a Chinese laboratory. Let's go over to my colleague, our reporter Abhishek Jha. He's with us on this story. Abhishek, we know that post the spread of COVID, the other theory that did gather quite a bit of steam was whether or not COVID-19 was the result of a Chinese biological weapons program. With the Energy Department coming forward saying this, it seems that the consensus is growing that this was not in fact the result of a biological weapons program. In fact, it was possibly a lab leak. This is something already we know some organizations believed, but it seems as if the consensus is growing. Could you bring us more details?
Clearly, it looks like the first story that was ever since this whole pandemic started was that possibly this virus was leaked from some laboratory where the experiments or DNA analysis of such flu viruses were going on. And most likely put of this was that some Chinese laboratory, because the first case was discovered in Wuhan in China, and ever since the suspicion was going on that some Chinese laboratory could have let this virus out, and this is why this virus is spread across the world. Since China did not allow WHO official or other health official or other independent investigators also to have access, the physical access of these laboratories, so the suspicion only grew over the last 2-3 years that Chinese laboratory or Chinese private individuals could have been behind this, maybe accidental leak, but the thing could not be established. But now the latest reports or latest investigative report at least once again put light back on the theory that there was possibly a lab leak and this virus may not have been a natural virus or natural, that came to the human species in a natural way. It very well could have been a virus that was being analyzed and synthesized in a private laboratory in China and possibly leaked out some way.
Abhishek, can you just explain to our audiences, when the World Health Organization had gone there in 2021 to make this investigation, they had at that point said that, they were investigating the causes, but they'd faced quite a bit of criticism for what was perceived as a lack of transparency in this investigation. Even now, I believe the White House advisor has said that there are still a variety of views on this issue. Why are we seeing still such hesitancy on certainty?
But you know that in the past also China has been not very open and transparent about the things about the scientific researches and laboratory work that goes on in China. This time we know the kind of pandemic that the world had faced, and China would not like to have the blame coming on its own laboratory or its government agency or somebody who hails from China. In fact, China tried to claim that this whole virus that officially started from Wuhan did not first occur in Wuhan. They claim that it occurred somewhere in Europe, and they tried to put some research papers of sewage sampling that established that somewhere in Italy the first virus case was detected. So clearly China, ever since the start of the pandemic, China was trying to put the blame on some other country and trying to distance itself from being the cause or the first case where this virus occurred. And since then, WHO tried to investigate and physically assess the situation on ground in China, but Chinese officials did not allow. In fact, after much dilly-dallying, Chinese officials allowed a very limited number of WHO senior officials, and even they did not have an unhindered access of laboratories that they wanted to visit in China. So the suspicion had only grown. Even now, the reports suggest that Chinese laboratory may have been behind this virus leak, but again, it will not be officially established unless until Chinese side cooperate and they put forward evidences. They let people or investigators talk to the laboratory officials.
Okay. Abhishek, thank you for bringing us those details. Remember, the coronavirus emerged in late 2019. It's to date killed almost 7 million people. It's time right now for a short break. On the other side, we return. You're watching the morning news right here on CNN News 18. We'll return with more of the country's top stories.